Welcome to Resource PNG. Over the past week, landowners on Lihir Island mobilized to temporarily halt operations of the Lihir mine. Much of this was on the back of dissatisfaction of what they claim was unnecessary delays by the state as well as Newcrest, operators of Lihir Mine, in dealing with their outstanding demands, among which the renegotiation of the integrated benefits package as well as the Lihir Mine MOA. Here is a look at the background to what has transpired. Since commencing operations in the mid-1990s, Lihir Gold Mine has played an important role in contributing to the overall growth of Papua New Guinea's economy. The mine has also been one of the first to include landowners as an integral part of its operations through agreements such as the Integrated Benefits Package (IBP), which spell out how Lihirians can benefit from opportunities from the mine. However, in recent times there have been concerns raised, particularly by the Lihir Mining Area Landowners Association (LAMALA), the Nimomar Rural Local Level Government (NRLLG), and the New Island Provincial Government (NIPG) over the perceived decline in benefits flowing down to the people. Among concerns raised by the parties was the so-called failure by government agencies, particularly relating to the monitoring of environmental impacts of the mine on the island communities. In May this year, LAMALA, NRLLG and the NIPG came together for a roundtable discussion to find a way forward in addressing issues relating to the Lihir mine.
It must come up a revised agreement. It must come up after 5 years. We like see one plan long 2007 revised agreement. Now, suppose you look at the time spent, a little loose in the sense that revised agreement when we plan must come up every 5 years. I mean, long time too much. 95 we go to 2007 first revised. Now we play okay, our plan loop process belong revised belong 2007. It come now, another extra 5 years. When them delay come now, plenty of reasoning all long give him no side no company, no side all government that me play it. He got hill fighting, infighting na melo me play papa ground. Or Papa Ground Lamala na Nimomar local level government. Look Lomi now after the 2007 review. There's something been come up, true. But during that period again, he got some understanding benefit stuff. Long June 2012, Lamala and the NRLG only come long round table, only working on the decision, long come together as one body. Now you got this black and look now, blow work boom. 2007. Only agree. Look something inside long this plan. Common understanding na melo tu bla. Now I'm leading me bla come long sla point now. Me bla coming now some three bla party. The provincial government, now Papa Ground, now Landowners. That people realize in this plan, what if something been come up, all differences na melo me plan. We have come to a situation where me plan now we work book now. We will signing on common understanding. The governor of New Island province, president, me as president, chairman of Lamala. We will look at me at this. We are the key stakeholders of the Ost province, New Island. Usat the custodian of the resource. Me will think semi proper at this point in time. That long spear him, start him again this review process. Number 2 review process now. MRA, national government, must come now na look sa we happen to be one of the resource now is stop long and need lots law structure of development in Papua New Guinea. Nami bless away too that for a special mining lease to be granted to the developer, he got one for something only call him environmental plan. Nami believe that only been submit him environmental plan blah he go along national government. National government on that basis and we agree to grant that special mining lease, he go along developer. Okay. Somewhere along the line, you miss out too, at the same time, we play a lead now we come along this black and understanding that environmentalists of today, they only got this like thinking they only say time long, make sure, only not make a mistake because all thinking long only based on pure assumptions that this will happen. You may not talk long one big man and top long God by talk. You work in environmental plan, now you submit him along national government. At the end of the day, only submit him special mining lease. He come on developer. Now you not got problem. No, there still will be problem. Simply because we're dealing with human beings. They are not immune to making mistakes. Only working mistake, yeah. Now long case blah, despite the fact that during that time, all been writing some academics come on board. Now talk like some impacts long gold mine, establishment of a gold mine in Lihir by plant impacts. Now some time, during that time, plenty something now will come up. They were never included in the original environmental plan. You talk now long offshoot, long Mali, dumping the sea. Suppose people look now, so people kill you, now people talk also. Okay, and no way in the world. He got dumping lo solwara. Na environmental plan di tokol semua before submitting long national common. And these are the sort of things that all environmentalists during that time when they submitted the environmental plan to the national government, when it was a prerequisite to grant that special mining lease. Now we have problems. Okay, who is prepared now at this point in time to come on board, not talking about Papa ground or learn on us? We have made mistakes. You may got all kind of issues stop. We are prepared to come.
Time this la issue lo environment di bagarap all people only racing na lomi bla also Lihir Mining Area Landowners Association i makim all people lo representing all lo tok lo all issues lo na lo side lo environment this la issue I come up one very sensitive issue where a greater impact now all one no good long all people will receive him. While mining you go forward long, carry out all activities long, all people only affected lo this lo side lo environment. In that regard now we will take him this bold step forward lo tok longan. Now we will anticipate him look all get a stakeholders underneath law or respective agreements like that. Environmental issues are very sensitive. Now look go forward there. We have a need to address it. As an association, we will respecting all the parties that they have an obligation to contribute. Along the way, we will looking also the state as the regulator, lo continuous monitoring look what is physical on the ground there was not forthcoming. This la big black gap been stopped. Na time we play it talk one them company. We play looking also company i-refer lo state. Okay, lo solve him, all issue or address him, this la all issue, realistically, mi blay lugem olsem. If this la kind situation it continue to happen like what mi blay no expect him, I think we'll be losing heavily. That is why mi blay take him this la a step forward now lo talk that underneath lo development mining contract where MOA spirit belong memorandum of agreements na integrated benefit package itok lo lug long all issues, but in real fact mi blay sawe usat stakeholder responsible to carry out this law obligation and really is the state.
Welcome back. We continue with our look at the recent temporary shutdown of operations on Lihir Mine. Following a meeting of Lihir Mine stakeholders in May this year, Resource PNG spoke with Newcrest PNG country manager Peter Aitzi to get his views on what has transpired so far. The concerns raised by Lamala, NRLLG and NIPG have been taken note of, and Newcrest, as operator of the Lihir mine, has been quick to respond to these claims, as explained by Newcrest PNG country manager Peter Aitzi.
New Ireland Provincial Government, Lamala and Inima local level government are all parties to what we call the MOA. This is the Memorandum of Agreement, and that's an agreement between those parties and state and the national government. So really that document provides a framework in terms of how the benefits of the mine will flow through to those entities. Within that, there are some obligations on state to ensure that they are working closely with these organisations in order for those obligations within the MOA to be met. We as a developer aren't a party to that MOA, so what we do is obviously work with the state to ensure that we're supporting the commitments made by state through that MOA. Look, we as an operation work very closely with the SEPA, it's the Conservation Environment Protection Authority, formerly DEC, and that organisation has the authority within of state to oversee environmental matters. So we work very closely with them. As and when issues do come up, we are led by their process and we seek to engage with their directions in terms of whatever determination they provide. The economic or business development activity sits underneath the MOA, and as I said, this is a document between those parties and the state. We as a developer provide the economic base in order for those types of activities to take place. So what we do is we work very closely with government agencies such as Department of Commerce and Trade, with MRA as the regulator, to try and encourage local businesses. I must say on the whole, I mean, Lihir has been very successful in doing that. When you look at the kind of, I suppose, success of Anichua, National Catering Service, they're both recognised large-scale organisations now that operate beyond the borders of Lihir. And so these are known as model organisations that do operate beyond Lihir. There's still a lot of work to be done because, as you're aware, within our country there are issues in terms of capacity of landowner groups and organisations to provide the level of service that some organisations need. But we work very closely with them and the MRA to ensure that we can assist them to develop their capabilities in making sure that the operations on Lihir are able to be sustained over a longer term. And that's really the focus, because if we're able to do that, then the benefits flowing to these organisations, Lamala, New Ireland Provincial Government, Ninima Local Level Government, can be sustained for the longer term. It's just how we manage that process, and it's for the parties to work very closely with state and then with the developer to ensure that we're all working together for that common outcome.
Resource PNG requested for comment from Conservation Environment Protection Agency, SEPA. However, no response has been forthcoming despite numerous follow-ups. Within the past week, Lamala, NRLLG and NIPG carried out their threat, placing gorgor at various mine sites on the island, effectively halting mine operations.
Suppose semi come up no states where the state, Lulu, as well as the other respective stakeholders, I think we are resorting to a gorgor placement. And basically that gorgor will signal all the stakeholders that this issue is serious now, we need to address it, so that on a win-win situation you can continue with your activities, and on the other side of things the people have the comfort that they are safe. They have the issues that is related to environment addressed, and we can always work together in that spirit to maintain a win-win situation that Lihir, for the people of Lihir, this is what they want. The company, this is what they want. And in the long run, this all issue here is well and within our reach to address.
However, by this week, mine operations have returned to normal following intervention from the Mineral Resource Authority. Oil Search Managing Director Peter Botten on a new oil and gas pricing paradigm. That's after the break on Resource PNG. Welcome back. Oil Search is one of the biggest employers in Papua New Guinea, contributing significantly to the nation's economy. It is also a big player in the new LNG industry, which is being seen as the new backbone of PNG. This week, Oil Search Managing Director Peter Botten spoke with members of the business community in Port Moresby on what he predicts will be the trend in oil and gas pricing in the years to come. The next 2 years will be tough for the oil and gas industry in Papua New Guinea if world oil prices continue to remain at current levels. This is according to Peter Botten, Managing Director of Oil Search. Mr. Botten addressed members of the business community in Port Moresby this week, where he spoke on the oil and gas pricing. With global oil prices currently trading at around the $55 per barrel mark, there have been concerns raised over the future of oil and gas projects in Papua New Guinea. According to Oil Search Managing Director Peter Botten, current oil prices may have little impact on current production and exploration, provided they don't remain at these levels for too long. But he says the next 2 years will be critical for the industry in Papua New Guinea.
In summary then, the oil and gas business is undergoing a major structural change. It's driven by a shift in the supply balance. And in our view, the impact is likely to be medium and long term. We don't believe we're going to go back to north of $100 a barrel for quite a number of years. And there will be a balance of supply between new supplies from the US and other projects that are competitive, and that of traditional sources such as OPEC.
As the largest investor in the oil and gas sector in Papua New Guinea, Botten says Oil Search is looking to ensure that it receives maximum returns from its current production operations. He adds that whilst world oil prices continue to hover around the $55 to $65 per barrel mark, there is a view that the long-term future price of oil would be at around the $80 per barrel mark.
We think there is a need for the industry to step up partner with government on infrastructure, various key social metrics such as health programs, and obviously in the medium term, long-term capacity development, not just in the central government but also in the provinces. We also see that there's other opportunities in the highlands. We also see that potentially small-scale LNG resource projects and remote communities can be very competitive in this market.
Given the gradual increase in world oil prices, Papua New Guinea stands to gain a lot from LNG sales in the coming years, especially with Pyongyang looking to add another train to the current PNG LNG project, as well as the development of the elk antelope fields in the Gulf province.
The industry reaction to the lower oil price has been swift. You can't forget the fact that in 2009, when PNG LNG was sanctioned, that the oil price was $60 a barrel. We did actually sanction that project at that level, but of course one of the things I do think has changed is that the outlook for pricing, oil pricing, to go much higher has changed with this new production balance. So although we think $100 might be a little way away, we also see that the balance on the downside at $50 a barrel is probably an unlikely occurrence for any length of time as well. So we think it's going to stay in that $50 to $80 a barrel range, and are going to run our business that way. PNG LNG is a major success story. It was delivered ahead of expectations and within a revised budget, which is significantly impacted by FX of $19 billion. And it is a milestone for PNG. It's also a milestone in putting PNG on the investment map. And right now, the project is performing excellently. Is producing more than it's produced to date more than 6 million tonnes of LNG, and delivered over 90 LNG cargoes. Both trains are operating at nameplate or above nameplate capacity, and right now the focus on the project is very firmly on looking at what the plant and the fields and all the facilities can actually produce. The key focus for us as a PNG company, PNG's largest single investor in this country, is to look for further growth in our LNG business. And PNG LNG has delivered a very strong platform for growth. We believe PNG can deliver at least 2 more LNG trains underpinned by existing undeveloped resources, and with modest drilling success, maybe a 3rd train. And we look at PNG as in 2 effective hubs. We've got PNG LNG sitting in the middle, having built the infrastructure, having done a lot of the hard yards, a northwest hub where there's significant undeveloped gas, and a Gulf hub which is obviously centred around the elk antelope field. There are also multiple exploration opportunities in PNG, and we see this downturn in the industry, the attenuation of exploration by some of the small players, the lack of capital for those people to actually explore, as a real opportunity to consolidate our business.
And this is where we end this episode of Resource PNG. If you want to contribute to this program, get in touch with us via email on resourcepng@emtv.com.pg. To view this edition again, log on to www.emtv.com.pg, where you will find a link to the Resource PNG page. Until the next time, pleasant viewing.